What's going on, guys? This is the Trank, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Rofis R2. This is a flashlight I've been wanting to get my hands on for a while because it's a pretty new company with a pretty innovative flashlight. And just before we get started here, I am going to just go in on the specs here, so if you want to pause the screen there and take a look at those, you can go ahead, but we are going to jump into that later. The light itself comes in at just under 4 inches long and weighs roughly 2.4 ounces. And taking a look at the body here, you see it's got a nice black anodized finish. It's got the magnetic charging port there on the top across from the power button, as well as a tail clip. So the feature that really sets this flashlight apart from other similar lights in the market is the rotating adjustable angle head on the flashlight. So this actually allows the unique ability of being able to use the R2 as either a handheld flashlight or as a headlamp. And so it actually is pretty tight and takes considerable force to rotate the head, so it's not going to be swiveling around on its own, which is a good thing. People in previous models said that it was actually too hard to rotate the head, and I actually think that the more force it takes to rotate the head, the better, just to really prevent it moving around on its own. So a feature that I love about this light is that while the flashlight is USB rechargeable, the base battery that's used is a 14500 battery, which is actually the same size as a standard AA battery. And so while the light won't put out the maximum lumens with a AA over the 14500, you are able to use regularly found AA batteries if you need to, which is a huge plus no matter how you're using the light. So another really convenient feature of this light that I really like to see on new lights is the magnetic USB charging, similar to what O-Light does. And so a small cord clips onto the head of the light, an indicator will show when the light is charging, and it'll show when it's done by turning blue, or it might be green. And after using lights with similar charging features, I find it hard to go back to any lights that don't have this magnetic charging feature, just because it makes it that much easier. So as a size comparison, here it is next to my O-Light S1R Baton 2. You can see the Rofis is a bit longer than the O-Light, but the head and body diameters of the lights are very similar, and you can see that they share a lot of design similarities. Now, I have heard around that the Rofis flashlights are perhaps manufactured in the same warehouse or factory as the O-Lights, which I'm not really sure about, but either way, you can definitely see that the two lights share a lot of similar design capabilities. Along with this light, you will receive, of course, the wristband, which there is a hole on the tail side of the light that you can feed that through and loop the wristband on. Along with that, you'll receive extra O-rings for the waterproofing. You'll receive a user manual, and then, of course, the Rofis head strap there for it to be used as a headlamp. So as I mentioned before, it's this feature of being able to double as a headlamp that I think really sets this light apart from other similar models, such as some of the O-Lights. And that's because in about 30 seconds or less, you can easily slide the flashlight onto the included head strap. And then from here, you can, again, rotate that bezel 90 degrees. And now you have really just a perfectly functioning headlamp. And I would say the only con is that the power button is located in such a spot when it's in the headlamp mode that it can be a little tricky to get to. But I mean, it's really not that hard. It's not a big deal. But it's something that could be possibly improved upon just by moving the power button in the future. And finally, when you're done using it as a headlamp, you can, again, just rotate that bezel 90 degrees, slide it out, and it's back to being used as a handheld flashlight. So the light has a waterproof rating of IPX8, meaning that it can be completely submerged in up to 2 meters of water with no damage being done to the light. And this feature is always excellent to see because you don't need to worry about it getting wet, whether from rain or if you drop it into wet conditions. And I really like to see it on these lights with the external USB charging, because some of the ones that have a USB port don't have this waterproof rating, but when you have this magnetic charging, you commonly see this waterproof rating, such as with the O-Lights again. So really great, and you can see here that after being submerged, it's still working fine, still got smooth action on the bezel. And the last feature of note on this flashlight is that it does have a strong magnetic base, and so this allows you to mount the flashlight on any sort of magnetic surfaces, and you have that double feature of being able to move the head, and so you can really angle it and position the light to be exactly where you need it, which is of course useful for any sort of hands-free operations. So now looking at the lighting operation, when you click it once, you're going to go right into low. and then from there you can hold the power button down to cycle through your low, medium, and high. And you can triple click the button for either from on and off to go into that strobe mode. And then finally you do have a turbo with double click once the flashlight is turned on. So when the flashlight is turned off, if you go ahead and hold the power button down, it's going to bring you into a moonlight mode, which is great for using at night when you just need, in really dark conditions, when you just need a little bit of light without sort of blinding you and anyone around you. And then from there is a lockout mode on this light, and so if you hold down the power button while it's off, you're going to get these two blinks, and once you see those two blinks, you're now in lockout mode, and clicking the power button on once will not turn the light on. So if you're going to be storing it for any extended period of time, and then you just hold it down for a few seconds to get it back, and it'll bring you right into low. And so finally we can take a look at some night footage here of the flashlight. So first here you've got low, and I should point out that I bought the light with the cool white. You can get it at a warmer light color, which is more natural to what we would see during the daytime. I just prefer the cool white because it tends to give just a brighter spot at night, and I don't really mind the cool color. So from there we have medium, and here we have high. You can see high really lights up the area. It's got a nice bright spot in the middle with also a surrounding sort of glow for your peripherals. And then you do have the strobe mode, which of course is on that high. And overall it puts out really good light, and I really love the light. So overall, I think this is a really cool new flashlight that Rofis has developed. I think it holds up to other competitors very well and competes right on the alley, but I think that the added feature of having the rotating head kind of gives it an upper edge over some of its competitors, and I'll be excited to see what Rofis develops in the future. This light comes in at about $55, maybe $60 on Amazon, which honestly I think is a great deal, and I think you should check them out. Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out my other videos. This is going to be the new channel going forward for survival gear reviews, and we'll see you guys next time.